Good afternoon. Welcome to Speaking in Your Basement. Today I want to talk a little bit about what gives words weight. Freud has that quote about language essentially being like magic. Bruce Lee had a quote where words have power. That's why it's called spelling. That's not the greatest one in the world, but I think the point is still valid. What is the power of words? And if words have power, why is it we can say things all the time and get no response, no interest? That's more the concern, is that, well, we have all these ideas about how powerful words are, but how come people talk to each other all the time? I'm sure you've talked to people that have ignored you. You've said things that you thought would have impact, didn't seem to land with any impact with other people. There's a few ways you can start to add impact to your words. Now, I believe we've talked a little bit about the big way already. The more you pay attention to your nonverbal, particularly your body language, but also your tone, the more you pay attention to how you're showing up before you even speak, that's powerful. That's going to give whatever you say more impact. To focus in more on the words themselves, to give a word or a sentence or a paragraph, however long your presentation may be, more impact, you're going to have to give it the impact. You're going to have to treat the words as special. The message you're trying to deliver is special. And the more special it is to you, when you deliver the presentation to someone else, it's going to come across as more special and more important to them. That's not a guarantee they're going to do anything, but it's one of the ways to stack the deck in your favor. Now, if you really want to take it to the next level, then you've got to look at the structure of your presentation. Any point you're trying to make, any idea or concept you're trying to impart needs a story to go along with it, or depending, possibly multiple stories. But a story takes someone on a journey, even if it's a short little journey, but it gives the idea of the impact that went into discovering whatever it is you're sharing with them, or the importance of it, or the effect it's had in your life. If you tell some of the story of that, then your words are going to have much more impact than they would otherwise. You can tell someone the best financial advice, the best weight loss advice, the best relationship advice. That's like some of the top three, all the big things we want in life. You give them the best summation of wisdom you can in that area, and they just shrug and keep walking. Why? Because you didn't tell them in a way that added impact to the words. Now, words for a very long time, probably since we've mostly learned how to speak, have had limited impact. If you had a high enough position, maybe people would pay a certain amount of attention. If you were in a certain special situation, maybe people paid attention. But we're bombarded by words now all the time. That's only gotten worse. When the printing press, we started getting written advertisements everywhere, and then we had radio last century, and now we're hearing audio advertisements everywhere. And that's advertisements, whether it's what's officially called advertising or just listen to this radio show for free. They're still trying to get you to listen. They're still trying to get your attention. They're still selling you something, even if it's not money. Maybe not money in a direct sense. But then television, and of course now the internet. We're being bombarded by this all the time. So who's got time to pay attention to more words? Well, everybody, because we still do. Only we can't pay attention to all the words. We can't pay attention to a tiny fraction of the words. What we can pay attention to is that's which is delivered to us in a certain way. Now, it can be person to person with appropriate nonverbals, good body language, good tone. But in an additional way, which you can deliver live or through writing, or through an ad, an email, however else you send it to people. If you tell the story, if you treat your message seriously and build it out the way it has to be built out in order for it to have an impact in other people's minds, it's going to have more of an impact. That's part of the reason it has that impact for you. You lived the story. They're just going to get to hear about the story, but you lived the story of why this thing is so important. And if you just tell them the important thing, it's like, you've deprived them of any reason for it to be meaningful at all. They're not going to get to live it unless they go out and decide to go on the journey for themselves. But for it to have some weight with them, you tell them the story. You share some of your experience with them. You share some of your journey with them. Now the words have more meaning. Now the words have some impact. And of course, the better you do that, the better the impact tends to be. That's how to put the magic back in language. You got to put it back in for yourself. You got to be clear on why it's there for you, and then you got to share some of that with the people you'd like to talk to. I'm Ben Langley. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. We'll talk again soon.